How confident are you that the bill will pass? And if it doesn't pass, is there a plan B?
No, there's no plan. I mean, there's plan A and plan A. We're going to get this done. I'm not looking, as I mentioned, we're not looking at a plan B. We have plan A. It's going to pass, and we're going to go from there.
You've said that there is only plan A.
Right.
At this point, is there an acknowledgement that perhaps there does need to be a plan B if this vote doesn't happen tonight?
Plan A. The president's plan is to pass the bill tonight, get it onto the Senate, and then sign a bill once it goes through conference. That's the president's plan.
Is there any sort of plan if the bill does not pass tonight? What is the plan B?
It's going to pass. So that's it.
No plan B. Back with the panel. Senator Santorum, Phil Mattingly was reporting that the idea is to kind of grind folks down.
Yeah,
what does that actually mean?
If I can give some advice to the Trump people who are talking to the media, don't use words like grind members down. I was going to say not the kind of spirit
I didn't
that we want to see.
I didn't learn
we're
that
going to challenge our members to remember what they're here for, but grind, not just put that out of the lexicon.
But what does that actually? I mean, I know what grinding looks like, but what does it actually mean in terms of just trying to convince folks in the final? I mean,
it's
calling them up.
It's doing what they're doing right there at the. I mean, I'm just hearing this from everybody that I've talked to in there, and that is just rally people, remind people of the election, remind people the promise you made, remind that this is an important thing for our country, and it is that kind of attitude that we're seeing here. It's not grinding that's going on right now. The procedural vote that they're to take. This is it will be an interesting vote. It will pass because members vote for procedural votes, but you'll get a sense of the folks who are the real malcontents. I mean, the folks who are really mad that this is good. They'll vote. In many cases, they will vote on the other side of the procedural vote. So you'll get a sense of what sort of the core angry Republicans are at this procedural vote. And if it's not many, very good sign.
I'm sure Jen remembers this from 7 years ago and the interplay between the House and the Senate, the bouncing of bills back and forth. And ultimately, the House accepted a bill that they were unhappy with, didn't feel it was generous enough, didn't include a public option, for example, because they concluded that it was the last boat, and people needed to jump on.
It's ever thus. It's ever thus. If you're going to get something done on a major initiative like this, there are always going to be people who are unhappy. The question is, can you bring enough of them over? And frankly, self-preservation plays a role in this too, political self-preservation.
There's a tweet now from the official account of the White House, the POTUS account. I'm just looking at it as everybody else is. Disastrous Obamacare has led to higher costs and fewer options. It will only continue to get worse. We must repeal and replace #pass the bill.
Yeah, he's trying to exert some pressure with his millions of Twitter followers, and it might help you. You never know. At this point, though, I think the decision was made, whether it came from Trump or his aides or both of them. And I got wind of that, as Dana was saying earlier today, because they knew that if they let this hang out there, you know what happens to legislation.
Right.
The guys are going to go. They're going to go home for break. They're going to go to their town hall meetings, and they're going to be out of your control. And you want to get a vote as soon as possible, strike while the iron's hot, whatever cliche you want. And the more they let it hang out there, the worse it was going to be for them, because everybody has a problem with something.
John, is it surprising to hear the White House say there is no plan B, or is that just negotiation? I mean, that's just...
Well, I hate to say this, but in a sense, just pay no attention to the man at that podium to a degree. And I hate to say that early in a new administration, but there's a credibility problem in the White House briefing room, and I don't think that's the way. The idea, if you want to say the president has met with these people over a couple of weeks now, we've had several sets of conversations, of course we'll continue to talk to members, but we believe we can all campaign on this together. It's time to have a vote. That's different.
I got to go to Dana Bash. Dana, what's going on?
The members of Congress are leaving. We're going to try to get them to stop. So far, we haven't been successful. Congressman, we're live. Would you like to stop and talk to us about what's going on? Congressman, can you stop and give us an idea of what's going on? So far, no luck. We're still trying.
We got all night. We can watch this.
I know. Congressman? More are coming. Talk amongst yourselves, Anderson. I'll let you know.
Maybe she could offer. I'm sorry, Dana, but I'm sort of happy they're doing that. Maybe she could offer free microwaves.
That's very telling, though. Watching those people
really. What does that tell you?
Not one of them. I mean, remember the old thing. This used to be applied to Chuck Schumer, but don't get in the way of whomever in a television camera.
Right.
When you see them all walking past Dana, there's a reason for that.
No, they're acting like a pack. I mean, that's the cohesion that you just saw. I mean, I guarantee you the leader said.
Let's go to Dana.
I can't work and pay taxes and pay insurance premiums. I can't raise 2 children to be productive citizens. I can't do a thing. In fact, by now, I would be dead. So I want to know from you, sir, if you will support the provisions of the Affordable Care Act that protect people like me from being thrown into a lottery system, such as a high-risk pool, and not being guaranteed receiving any insurance at all, and will protect my children and my husband from going bankrupt to keep me alive under circumstances that none of us chose.
Thank you for your question.
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction in the universe, including in our weird politics. A day after the election, nobody would have told you that Republicans would have any trouble repealing Obamacare, right? That's a thing they could do on their own. They'd be pushing on an open door. The Affordable Care Act, they've been rehearsing repealing it for years. It would definitely be their first casualty, no problem. Then they'd get on to the hard stuff. But people all over the country, in every congressional district in the country, changed the course of that otherwise inevitable history. They at least slowed it down. The Republican plan to repeal the Affordable Care Act has a 17% approval rating. That's worse than Chris Christie. There is not a single congressional district in this country where the number of people who strongly like the Republicans' idea outnumber the number of people who strongly hate the Republican idea. Not in a single congressional district in the entire country. That happens for a reason. That political climate doesn't exist in nature. It is created by people engaged in political action. House Republicans are planning to vote at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight to repeal Obamacare anyway, but now they have pulled their bill. Despite the personal efforts of the president, despite the White House insisting right through this afternoon that it had definitely passed, no problem, they apparently could not get it done. Republicans say they will reschedule the vote for tomorrow morning. There's still every possibility that it might pass tomorrow morning. But for the people who have been trying to save the Affordable Care Act all over the country, even what just happened tonight is huge. Everybody thought Republicans would be able to move at will on this, but people said nope. Bernie Sanders is going to join us about that to talk about this in just a moment.
With my panel, I want to put this picture up. This is and get the reaction from you guys. That Democrats are seizing on this. Vice President Mike Pence tweeted out a photo with the message: "Appreciated joining the POTUS the meeting with the Freedom Caucus again today. This is it. Passed the bill." Democratic Senator Patty Murray, though, retweeted it and adding the message: "A rare look inside the GOP's Women's Caucus." Malika Henderson. But let's look at that picture again, because there's not.
There are no women.
And they're deciding on women for pediatrics, maternity care, and I also have a friend who texted me and said, the only brown thing in that picture is a table.
That's the House Freedom Caucus.
Ileana Ross-Layton, Virginia Fox, Kathy McMorris Rogers,
but they're not in the House Freedom Caucus.
They already know how to vote. Yeah. See, women are ahead of the folks who are in that picture.
Go on.
I mean, optically, it's terrible, right? I mean, for a party that struggled to get women and to bring in minorities. I mean, in this sort of, I think it really is emblematic of the problem.
The table was brown.
Yeah, I mean, good congratulations on the brown table.
Thank you for showing the picture.
And, you know, people have sort of been, I think one of the problems with President Trump's administration generally is the lack of diversity. In cabinet picks, it's one of the least diverse cabinets we've had.
You see minorities who come to the White House for the most part.
Right.
There are some minorities who work in the White House, but you see minorities come to the White House, and it's often a photo op, and you see photo op. Hold on one second. Hold on. Will you let me get my point in? and you see the photo ops of the people who are sitting around him. Many times it's not diverse, but the times that it is diverse, it's a photo op, and there's nothing actually happening. There's no legislation that comes from it. It is
sitting behind
the perception of something.
Mary Elizabeth Taylor. She's right on the White House.
Perception, which is sort of, which is
she's
the
right behind
strategic
Gordon.
placement of one of the black staffers in the White House. I mean, that's what it really was.
You can't look at that picture and say
that's a freedom caucus,
and not agree. We have a long way to go. But all you have is all white guys like us sitting around a table, and that's the inner sanctum where we're a big decision.
It is the House Freedom Caucus, and I don't think there are any women, and there are no black people.
But yesterday he had a.
We don't believe in freedom.
He reached out to the Congressional Black Caucus, who has not one single vote there. Probably won't be many votes throughout.
The question is how many women are in the picture.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and
zero.
Yeah, because there are no women
25
in the
people.
Caucus, are there? Are there any women?
Actually, I don't know who's in the Freedom Caucus.
And they're discussing now to scrap essential health benefits, which include maternity care and pediatrics.
Yeah.
And it's all men.
Virginia Fox is chair of the Health and Education Committee, or the Education Committee, and actually the first woman of any party from North Carolina, where you went to school, to hold a gavel.
Yeah.
Think about that in the House of Representatives. First woman from North Carolina.
A lot of times it's like window dressing.
I think the reason we're pointing this out is because the Freedom Caucus that's the group that held this bill up.
Yeah.
They didn't want these essential services in the bill, and that's who's deciding.
I know. And I am not defending this by any stretch of the imagination, because clearly there is an issue here. But as Jack does say, right, as the former congressman does say, those are members who represent a certain constituency. Now, if you look at the Democratic Party, they, their base is made up of African Americans and what have you. But I will say this is a greater problem on Capitol Hill, and perhaps you gentlemen can agree or disagree with me on this, in both parties, quite frankly, where there is not enough diversity among staff members up on Capitol Hill in either party. Now, you can cherry pick and say, well, so-and-so here and so-and-so there.
Yeah.
But overall, across the board, that has always been.
You know more about it than I